Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching.
Huh? It's the house!
5 brain cells, 4 aren't working.
You know, that's just one step above stupid. Did you hear what I said?
5 brain cells, 4 aren't working.
There's mosquitoes the size of bald eagles in that dadgum swamp.
Huh?
What's going on, freaks? How's it going? Well, I thought these would be interesting cases. The Sebastian Rogers one is, you know, it's what the FBI put out in September. I didn't see it, so for us, it's likely an update. Plus, it also verifies everything that I was saying in those surveillance footage when I was absolutely trashed by 2 different YouTubers out there. Oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Oh, he doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't. He's just... And I don't just put stuff out just for the hell of it. Like, oh, let me just throw this out there and make something up. I don't do that. Okay? So, let's see. Let's just go over the Sebastian Rogers update really quick. And this is, hold on. That wasn't, where is that damn thing? Yeah, I think this is it right here. So this is on the FBI website. FBI.gov, right there. All right, so let's just go over this really quick, or however long it takes. On February 26, 2024, Katie Proudfoot went to wake up her 14-year-old son for school. To her surprise, he was nowhere to be found. Now, Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers had spent the previous day with his mother. The pair shopped at a department store, played video games at a bowling alley, and had dinner at a local restaurant. And we've seen the surveillance in the restaurant before heading home for the evening. After returning to their home in Hendersonville, Tennessee, Katie and Sebastian prepared for bed, saying goodnight sometime between 9 and 10 p.m. Katie told us a little bit before 10 p.m. she heard a loud bang coming from Sebastian's room, so she yelled out to ask him if he was okay, to which he responded that he was. He said Detective Brandon Carter from the Sumner County Sheriff's Office. She told him to go to bed because he had to be up for school the next morning. Katie called her husband, who was out of town in southwest Tennessee for work, and the two of them spoke for nearly 2 hours before she went to sleep at around midnight. The next morning was the beginning of what would become a massive search effort for Sebastian. Katie called her husband and told him that she couldn't find Sebastian, that he wasn't in his room or anywhere in the house. Katie got to her car and drove around the neighborhood and to Sebastian's school, which was less than a mile from where their house, searching for Sebastian before a mile from their house, which, let me go, okay, so let me read that again. It was Katie got into her car and drove around the neighborhood and to the Sebastian school, which was less than a mile from away from their house, searching for Sebastian before returning home. During this time, her husband called the local emergency communications center to report Sebastian missing. Let's see, and then it says, in the early days of the search, it seems Sebastian vanished without a trace. Hey, thanks, was it Chelsea Hazen or something? Let's see. And then this case was kind of a question mark, said FBI Nashville Special Agent Robert Barrett. Mom wakes up, and he is just gone. There's a question mark, and we've got to figure out what happened. I wonder what they mean, like if that's what they're trying to say when they say that. That question mark only grew bigger as the search went on. Sebastian did not take any clothes, shoes, money, food, or his cell phone. I mean, it is kind of interesting, right? Like, why wouldn't he take any, like the money, for example, just money? His cell phone and cash were both lying on the dining room table where they had been the day before when he went to bed. I mean, maybe somebody, if they picked him up, told him, hey, you don't need any money, you don't need anything. Who knows? When he went to bed, according to Katie, there was a small yellow flashlight that she thinks was missing, but that was the only thing that appeared to be gone from the house. Yeah, it's weird too, because you see stuff like in the Charlie Kirk shooting, these online communities of people communicating, and nobody has any idea what the hell they're talking about. I mean, is it possible that Sebastian was in one of these communities? And, because I guess, Katie didn't allow him to use social media, but his biological father did. So that's interesting. Let's see. The first week in the search, for Sebastian was a massive community and interagency effort between the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, Emergency Management Agency, Hendersonville Police, Gallatin Police, Tennessee Highway Patrol, the FBI, Metro Police, Wilson County Sheriff's Office, Sumner County EMS, Sumner County Emergency, etc., etc. The search consisted of about 4.5-mile radius around Sebastian's home, said Carter. There were roughly 2,000 searchers equipped with an app tracking their movements. The searchers could also use the app to plot things on a map that they observed while they were out searching. The total area they covered within that 4.5-mile radius was equivalent to a combined 44,000 acres. In addition to ground searches, law enforcement employed every available resource at their disposal to locate Sebastian. Fire departments, mounted patrols, ATVs, search and rescue, canines, drones, helicopters, and even an airplane. Let's see. During day 2 of the search, the Sumner County Sheriff's Department reached out to the FBI for assistance and specific resources that could potentially help find Sebastian, who has high-functioning autism. I contacted our FBI Child Abduction Rapid Deployment Team for initial consults, and they brought in the FBI BAU, Behavior Analysis Unit. The BAU shared a statistic that 50% of autistic children are prone to wander. They are also naturally drawn to bodies of water, and 71% of fatal outcomes involving missing autistic children were a result of drowning. Man, that's crazy to have those stats like that. That's probably why they were checking all those water areas. I mean, if you look at the map, I literally see all these blue areas. Those are all little tiny ponds that are just sort of all over the place. I mean, see all these places? I mean, it's just tons and tons of little tiny ponds and waterways all the way through in the area. And by the way, you guys, if you're watching the show and you want to help support the channel, I would appreciate it. That would be awesome. Like Chelsea up there. And look at that, Wild Bill Wassman. Yeah, so then that information helped us focus search efforts in and around bodies of water. The search team drained ponds and searched waterways and lakes looking for Sebastian. In addition, law enforcement searched almost every home in the neighborhood. Video recordings from nearby homes and dashboard cameras in Katie's car showed that Katie and Sebastian didn't leave the house. So look at that. Video recordings from nearby homes and a dashboard camera in Katie's car. I don't even know if I knew about that. Show that Katie and Sebastian didn't leave the house after their return home from dinner, and that no other cars were seen coming or going from Katie's home during the evening and early morning hours. I mean, that's wild. So, I mean, this right here makes it seem like he did just kind of like sneak out of the house somehow. We have followed up on every tip that has come in, said Josh Savely, special agent in charge for the Criminal Investigation Division of the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. Some of those tips we continue to examine at a deeper level, but the vast majority we have cleared as either being irrelevant or ended with no results. The lack of answers in the search for Sebastian has pushed the community to widely share the story on online platforms, but law enforcement reminds the public to be wary of misinformation from unverified sources, like these YouTubers that I was telling you about. Sebastian's disappearance has deeply affected our community, said Carter. We understand the desire for the community to want answers and for us to explain every step of this investigation, but we can't release all the case details without risking the integrity of the investigation. We ask that the community refocus on what matters most, and that's finding Sebastian. Staying united and supportive will bring us closer to the answer that we're looking for. Promptly sharing tips and information with the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, or the FBI is the best way to help find Sebastian. If you have any information concerning the whereabouts of Sebastian Rogers, please contact the Sumner County Sheriff's Office at 615-451-3838. And you can also send 1-800-TBI-FIND or tips to tbi@tbi.tn.gov. You may also contact your local FBI office. Continue to share official missing persons flyers, and don't wait, said Sheriff Eric Craddock. If you see anything, say something immediately. If you call right then, we can get someone on the hot trail. Sebastian was 5 feet 5 inches tall, around 110 to 115 pounds when he was last seen. He has brown hair and eyes and that look hazel or brown. He would now be 16 years old. Sebastian has medical condition including autism that may impair his ability to return safely without assistance. The FBI is offering a reward of up to $50,000 for information leading to Sebastian's whereabouts. The Sumner County Sheriff's Office, DBI, and FBI are still working collaboratively, sharing tips and information, and urging the public to work with law enforcement in hopes of bringing Sebastian home. So here's this part about the rumors here. So it says, 2 rumors in the search for Sebastian have been disproven. The flashlight theory. Remember how these clowns just would attack me over and over and over again? And I had I actually talk to the stepdad. And let's see, let me see if I can, where the hell was this? Yeah, right here. Yeah, so there's a surveillance camera on this house right here, and it's filming this direction. And it turns out that the lights are on a road up here. Okay? They're on a vehicle driving up here. It's not down here. They're not flashlights. They're nothing. Okay, it says it right here in this rumor. A house down the street from Sebastian's had security video footage from the night of his disappearance. The camera angled in a direction that happened to be facing Sebastian's backyard captured two small moving lights. At first glance, and remember that reporter put it out there too? Oh, it looks like, ooh. It's ridiculous. At first glance, the lights appear to be in Sebastian's yard. Right, at first glance. See, that's the level, that's the difference between me and those other people out there. They just do first glance, ooh, yeah! And they just go nuts on it, right? You got to actually spend a lot of time and look at it and kind of just know what the hell you're doing. Yeah, and then you'll get it figured out. At first glance, the light appeared to be a light in Sebastian's yard, suggesting someone was lurking with two flashlights in hand. A potential suspect, given Sebastian's disappearance that same night. However, when law enforcement further investigated the video, they disproved the theory. And look at, I think they even used my technique here. And I did this before. That's the funny part. The dark sky and camera angle combined had distorted the security footage. When they examined the video in relation to the topography of the area, they found that the lights were actually coming from a pair of truck headlights flickering through the trees from a street atop a hill, about 300 yards. Law enforcement further investigated to confirm that the flashlights were actually headlights. They also created, listen to this, you guys, an overlay of the security footage in daylight with a topography map in the daylight. It would have been clear that the lights were coming from the hill. See that little daylight thing? But hey, guys, if you're out there, if you could please consider supporting the channel so we can, at least try to attempt to reach the goal tonight, that would be great. Thank you. I know this aren't the big cases again. They're in the news. They also created an overlay. Okay, the person in the green hoodie theory. Remember that one? A video surfaced of Sebastian and Katie in the parking lot of the local restaurant they visited the night Sebastian disappeared. In the video, a person in a green hoodie briefly interacted with Katie. Suspicions arose that in this short interaction, the person in the green hoodie was planning something with Katie related to Sebastian's disappearance. Law enforcement spoke with the employee at the restaurant who confirmed this person in the green hoodie was a frequent customer and helped identify them. Law enforcement went to meet this person who happened to be wearing the same green hoodie in the video and confirmed they were not a suspect. Right, see how that goes? So he basically just disappeared. It seems more likely that he just kind of left on his own. All right. Hey, thanks so much, Aaron Sayers. Very kind, very kind. Thank you. So isn't that cool, you guys? I mean, I even did an overlay. I used Google Earth and just tried to come up with something that was sort of similar. I didn't have, I don't know why, but I kept asking if I could have a daylight shot, and then we could just figure it all out, because it makes it really obvious at that point. But they did exactly what we did in the, Kylie Rodney case, etc. It works really well. If you have a daylight shot and a nighttime shot of a surveillance footage that's dark at night, then you can really just see where everything is. If you just overlay the daylight version over the top of the nighttime, and then make it slightly transparent, like 50%, and then you can see the darkness through it and just see exactly where everything is. And you can even circle something and then change the opacity to 0, where you can then, or I guess maybe it's 100%, where you can literally just see the exactly where it is on the daylight map. All right. So, man, who the hell knows where he is still? That was so crazy when that kid looked just like him and they tracked it down. I mean, when you see the picture, you go, wow, they look the same. But look at all these places out here that had ponds. You know, you sort of wonder, did they check every single one of these things? I mean, I guess he would have floated to the surface if he died in a pond. And in any of the ones on people's property, eventually they would have found him, but they didn't. So, and there's a creek over here. Yeah. All right. Well, I was just going through the theories. I'm just reading what the FBI put out in September. I didn't see that. It was only 2 months ago. So we just read that, and that was it. That was all I had for you guys on that. All right, let's see. I mean, I don't know. I mean, is there anything even remotely out there that's like interesting about Sebastian Rogers, about where he might be or something? It just seems like there's nothing happening at all. People are talking about it, like, oh, you know, they just keep talking about it, but there's really, there's no information that's out there. Are you guys even, I mean, this is another night where nobody's chatting again. It's very frustrating. I need like more chatting. I think that actually helps the algorithm too, you guys, if you guys would type in, you know, and don't go, well, I didn't have anything to say. Just do like you always do, where you're talking about nothing. Okay, I've seen it. You talk about just what you bought for lunch and stuff like that. All right, so that'd be great if you could do that, because it makes his story fade. Yeah, well, it does make it fade. I just haven't heard anything. You know, I think he left the house and was picked up by somebody. That's what I believe, and it wasn't the Proudfoots. Right, see that? There's always some kind of something. All right, let's see. So I'm trying to figure out the order I want to do this. Okay, yeah, I think I'll just do it this way right here. Hold on a second. All right, so today, there was an article out here about Governor DeSantis signs the death warrant for the 19th execution this year. You know, the weird part is that guy right there is this guy. That's him back in the day when he was actually put on death row. And look what he looks like now. Doesn't look anything, I mean, his nose is sort of similar, but just totally different, you know. But that's him, and his name is Frank Walls. And when you read the article, it says Governor Ron DeSantis signed a death warrant for the state's 19th execution this year. According to court records, Frank Walls is set to be executed on December 18th at 6 p.m. Walls was arrested in 1987 at 19 years old and was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder I mean, he's been on death row forever. Jesus, 37 years or so. According to the death warrant signed by the governor, Walls brutally attacked and killed Edward Alger and Ann Peterson in their mobile home in the early hours of July 22nd, 1987. All right, but it turns out he's actually a serial killer. All right, so I'm not sure why they don't mention that in these articles. You know, it's almost like they're sort of not really aware. But if you go back to a 1994 article, which is only 7 years after the murders, it said, killer confesses to more murders. A death row inmate, already convicted of killing a Florida panhandle couple, had confessed to the slaying of 3 more women. Each of the 5 victims had been killed on a Tuesday. Well, that's interesting. I didn't even know that. or before dawn Wednesday between March 1985 and July of 1987. And thank God they caught this guy at 19 years old. This guy was going to be killing and killing and killing. The 26-year-old former dishwasher, okay, that says Frank Athen Walls pleaded no contest to one of the additional murders Wednesday, and then admitted the other two during an interview with state and Okaloosa County investigators. The 26-year-old former dishwasher, born in Germany to an Air Force family, was 17 to 19 when the slayings took place, making him one of the youngest serial killers on record. Yeah, that's totally... Usually you're not already killing at that age. That's why I'm saying, thank God they caught this guy. The handwritten letter was given to family members in court Wednesday when he entered his plea to her slaying. However, I do want you to know, with all honesty, that I'm truly sorry for your loss of a very loved one, Audrey Gidgey, Walls wrote. Gidgey, 47, was stabbed to death May 20th, 1987 in her mobile home. So here he's admitting to killing other people. So then I went back and looked those ones up. Like here's Tammy, there's a woman named Tammy Lou Whidden. And this is, let's see, I do have a picture. That's her right there. And this one says, the FBI is looking for possible, this is 1985, March 29. Possible witness. Hey, thanks, Aaron Sayers. The FBI is looking for possible witness in its investigation of the killing of a 19-year-old Valparaiso woman whose body was found in the Eglin Air Force Reservation Beach Wednesday. The FBI Special Agent Mike Dill said, and I'm going over this because this guy's a monster, and I don't have any like, oh, wow, you know, he's been cool on death row. We shouldn't, screw it. This guy's deserves it. FBI Special Agent Mike Dill said investigators want to talk with anyone who was on the beach west of the Elgin or Eglin officers, it's Eglin, not Elgin, Officer Beach Club from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. Tuesday. So this is just right on a beach at 10 to 3. The body of Tommy Lou, Tommy's a female, was found at, Tommy Lou, it's actually Wilden, I think, or like Whidden maybe, Whiddon, so Whidden, was found about a half mile from the club. She went to the beach Tuesday and was reported missing late Tuesday night by her parents when she did not return. The FBI had no suspects in the case. Late Thursday, we have no body, and we would classify as a suspect. But he said the agency is investigating the assault of another woman on the same area of the beach a few weeks ago to determine if the two incidents are related. That's interesting because that one's not, maybe that was one that failed and they just never, pursued that later. Dill would not say specifically if a composite drawing of a possible suspect had been made. We do not have one ready to release. Let's see, this might be right here. The area of the beach where Whidden's body was found is not that isolated, he said. In all probability, the incident occurred right where she was found. Dill also declined to comment on whether the weapon used to cut Whidden's throat had been located or what type of weapon might have been used. And let's see, I have this location. Just a second. Yeah, so the beach, we got to get to the area here. So it's right here. I think it's on that beach. Like, I think this is the officer area. Yeah, the officers club, it says. So then I think you come over here. They said a half mile, right? So I guess we could see how far that is. And that is That's about 1.4, so could just be like right here, I guess. Yeah, right in this area. Whidden was severely lacerated on the front neck, he said. The cut, which was made by a sharp object, cut through the air passage. Obviously, there was a good deal of bleeding, he said. The cut severed Whidden's air passage and caused bleeding, said Kilman, who performed the autopsy Thursday morning. The opening allowed blood into the airway and blocked air from her lungs, he said. I feel that her death was due to 1, asphyxiation, and 2, fairly moderate loss of blood. It's interesting. So she just sort of died from, like, basically drown in blood. Gilman said he did not know what type of object was used to make the cut, but it was something with a very sharp edge, like a knife. Let's see. The FBI is looking for a possible witness in its investigation. FBI agents, Special Agent Mike Dill said investigators want to talk with anyone. This one seems very similar to the last one. Same date and everything. Let's see. Officials seek link in prior attack. See, they're already thinking that this kind of killing is likely he's done something before, but that prior attack, I don't know if we've ever seen it associated. Did I type Summer Wells in the title? I don't know. I don't know if I did that. I didn't mean to. No, I'm not covering Summer Wells tonight. But hey, guys, if you're out there, if you could please consider supporting the channel. We're currently at about 1/10 of the goal. Would appreciate it. Thank you. Dave Stark, an FBI spokesman in the Jacksonville area, said there were no new developments Tuesday. Special Agent Mike Dill in Fort Walton Beach had said Monday that there may be connection between the two crimes. Let's see. Meanwhile, Dr. Edmund Kilman, a medical examiner, said his autopsy indicated Miss Whidden's attacker apparently crept up stealthily and killed her because there were no signs of struggle. He theorized the attacker squeezed her around the neck until she passed out before slashing her. Wow. There wasn't a bruise on her body, he said. Her hands weren't bloody. Even her fingernails weren't broken. You'd think she would have fought like a tiger. She probably didn't move after her throat was cut. That's crazy. Yes, we did that one. And so that was one of his victims. He just went up, and here's the Wikipedia description of it. It says, Walls committed his first murder on March 26, 1985 at the age of 17. On that date, he was on Okaloosa Island doing community service when he just noticed the 19-year-old junior college student Tommy Lou Whidden sunbathing there. Brandishing a knife, he went up to her and slashed her throat, leaving her to bleed out. Walls then stole her car, which was found on the following day parked behind a random building. That same evening, Whidden's body was found by a random person walking on the beach. Yeah, see how he just killed her with really no reason. All right, and then there's another woman named Cynthia Sue Condra. And here it is. Woman found murdered, deputies investigate. The Okaloosa County Sheriff's Department was investigating. This is 1986. September 16th is the actual day. The Okaloosa County Sheriff's Department was investigating the murder late Tuesday of a young woman whose body was found in the afternoon off the Beale Street extension. Not really sure what the Beale Street extension. Let me see if I can. Because I've already mapped some of these out. So that was Condra. Yeah, look how crazy this is, you guys. All these murders are just all right around. Let me see if I can just type in Beale Street. No, I don't even know if that's the problem sometimes. They rename streets and then you never really get to find it. Well, thanks, Aaron Sayers, again. We've only got 4 channel memberships tonight. But thank you for everybody who's gifted those. Let's see. All right, let me get back to this. So these are all victims by this guy that's going to be DeSantos signed the death warrant for. They didn't mention these other 3. Investigators were not releasing any information Tuesday night, but medical examiner Dr. Edmund Kielman said the woman, thought to be 20 or 30, this is a different case, had been stabbed a considerable amount of times. Kielman said the woman appeared to have been dead from 12 to 24 hours when he did a cursory examination at the scene shortly after 4 p.m. According to Kielman, the woman was found in a brushy area several feet off the road. It appeared that someone had dragged her there, he said. The body was in an early state of decomposition, Kielman said, giving him his estimate of how long the woman's body had been in the brush. Hey, thanks so much, Aaron Sayers. Is that a what kind of a bass is that you're holding there? It almost looks like I don't know, a white bass or a tarpon or something. It's so small. Let me click on it. I can see it better. It's crazy. Almost looks like a crappie, but it's not tall enough. It's it's so huge. There's no way. What is it? Oh, it's a hybrid striper. Okay. All right. That was close. Striper is what I was picturing. Let's see. Okaloosa County Sheriff Larry Gilbertson confirmed the death was classified a murder but would not comment further. A deputy on the scene said the woman had been identified, but the name could be released until relatives had been notified. We do not have a murder. We do have a murder, he said, but we're not ready to release that information. Investigator Don Winston, who was in charge of the case, was on the scene late Tuesday and cannot be reached. Kielman said he will perform an autopsy on the woman today. And then the same person. No suspect in slaying. Cynthia Sue Condra, 24, had been seen alive at around midnight Monday when she left the home on Racetrack Road. She shared with her serviceman husband and another woman. Where she was going, yet to be determined, said investigator Don Vincent. Vincent said Wednesday he interviewed several people and planned to conduct more. Nothing firm right now, he said, and we're not ruling anything out. Condra's body was discovered at about 3:45 p.m. in a brushy area off Duval Street near Okaloosa County landfill. Let me type that in. Okaloosa County landfill. Okay, way up here? I don't know. I don't think that's where it is. Because they said Duval Street. And there is a Duval Street right here. Like right there. It was Duval Street. See that? It's just right here, so I don't know where the, you know, let's go back in time a little bit. Does it look like there was even anything like that? Well, I mean, something like that could have been a landfill. There's Duval Street. I don't know if you'd put a landfill in the middle of a city like that, though. That doesn't make any sense. I don't know. Guess we'll have to figure that out. Let's see. Bushy area off Duval Street near the Ukaluka County landfill in Wright. Wright? Let me see where that is. Wright, Florida. So that is up there. It's interesting. I don't know. I don't know where Duval... I think Duval Street doesn't seem to exist up here anymore. Maybe if I type that in, Duval Street, Wright, Florida. Yeah, see now it doesn't. It goes right back over to here again. So I don't know. I don't think there was a land. Well, what the hell was this back then? I don't know. You know, I don't think they would put a landfill. Let's just be honest. Nobody puts a landfill. Who are you talking about? Oh, just get rid of this Barbie Quins. I know you're trolling because I haven't spoke to any trolls tonight in here. Okay, so you're coming in here making me do exactly the same thing that you just said. Well, you don't have to hide them. I just meant get rid of their. Just unhide them, but get rid of those comments. They're not in here to... They're just trolling. I mean, isn't that weird? Like, they're saying exactly what... They just created the same thing that they said that I was doing. I haven't responded to a troll all night. Okay, so if you do that ever again in here, Barbequins or whatever the hell your stupid name is, I'm going to remove you permanently, all right? If you come back with a snide reply to what I just said, I'm going to remove you permanently. And you can be one of the people that, I was silenced. Oh. All right. Okay, let's see. Where are we at here? Gilman said he thought the body had been dragged into the brush, but Sheriff's Department crime scene technician Jules Borio said, judging by the amount of blood on the ground and the position of the body, the stabbing didn't take place far from where the body was found. It's right there. Hey, thanks, Deidre Gambrel. Very kind, very kind. Hey, Barbie Quint. Just, by the way, I'm behind tonight. Right, okay. Hey, but anyways, thanks a lot there, Deidre. I really appreciate it. Keelman said most of the wounds were in the left side of the chest. Left side of the chest. So that's almost like he's left-handed then. Or no, right-handed because that'd be on her back. But a few were found in the woman's back and a few in her neck. Whoever did it was deliberately going for the heart. Death came when the sac surrounding the heart filled with blood from several puncture wounds to the heart cavity, restricting the heart's room. I mean, see how the difference is in the media, by the way? I guess 1986, we got to hear, like, the details of how the person died. Now it's just nothing. Nobody says anything. It's crazy. No weapon had been found. An investigator said, but Keelman judged it to be a single-edged blade. So that means the wounds had one sharp side and then one was sort of more blunt on the entry of the stab wound. 3/4 to 1 inch and had to be pretty stout knife, he said, because it went right through the breastbone and a couple of ribs. Man, deputies were around Duval Street, which runs off the Beale Street extension, searching the area where the van was found. A Fort Walton man on his way home from work spotted a red belt hanging in a tree at the side of the road, and the body was a short distance away. Wow, how'd they get up into a tree? Condra's body was fully clothed, but when discovered, and Keelman said there was no sign of sexual assault. So that's what's interesting. This killer, none of the victims appear to have been assaulted sexually. So that means he's just killing them, like for some gratification. I did an examination, Keelman said, and there appeared to be no sign of injuries or assault. Normally, anyone who commits a sexual assault isn't going to dress the victim. Condra was originally from Tennessee, Vincent said, and had children, but the investigator didn't know how many. Let's see. Investigators lift fingerprints from the murder victim van. Investigators reported nothing new Thursday in the stabbing murder of 24-year-old Wright woman. So there's nothing new, but let's see. Reports that a man had come across sex magazines and a woman's clothing stashed in the woods near where Condra's body was found were investigated and discounted. Vincent said the investigation was concentrating on the van and the site where Condra's body was discovered by a man on his way home from work. Condra had been stabbed 21 times in the chest. Isn't that interesting? Because the first one he just did once. And it's almost like, now he's getting more angry. Okay, so that was the second killing. And then 1987 in May, I just have this one that I pulled up on that. Investigators seek clues in Caltech worker's death. Sheriff investigators Wednesday said they have neither a suspect nor a motive in the slaying of Audrey Gidgey, 47, of 345 Duval Street. Gidgey's body was found by a coworker on the floor in the hallway of her mobile home at 9:45 a.m. And that's a mobile home, right? And the last two victims were killed in a mobile home. Cause of death will not be determined until today after a medical examiner, Dr. Edmund. Let's see, it might be the next page, I think. Keelman conducts an autopsy. Investigator would say little about the woman's injuries. The body had external wounds in the chest area that may have been caused by some sort of knife, Vincent said. A fireman was not involved in the slaying, he said. Vincent would not say whether the woman's body was clothed or unclothed or if she was the victim of sexual assault. The latter will be determined following the autopsy today, he said. Gidgey was employed by Caltech, Florida, according to Vincent, when she failed to report for her shift at 7 a.m. I mean, it's so crazy. This guy's just killing people for the hell of it. And then the last two, before he was captured, were these right here. It was Eglin Airman, girlfriend, found shot to death. So now he's changed to shooting. An Air Force senior airman and his girlfriend were found shot to death in a mobile home here Thursday. Another mobile home. Edward Alger, 22, and Ann Peterson, 20, had both been shot once in the head. He also had his throat cut, so then a knife still involved, said Dr. Edmund Keelman, Okaloosa County medical examiner. The two had been dead for at least 3 days when they were found. Law officers have tentatively ruled out murder-suicide, said Okaloosa County Sheriff Investigator Joe Nelson. It's going to be a double homicide, he said. They were shot, apparently shot. I don't know. I don't know why he said it like that. Alger was assigned to Organization Maintenance Squadron at Eglin Air Force Base. A colleague looked for him as Greenwood Mobile Home Park at the Greenwood Mobile Home Park after Alger didn't show up for work for several days. This is the more famous one is this one. Autopsy indicates bullets fired at close range in double murder. 2 of the 3 bullets that killed Airman Edward Alger were fired from a gun placed against his head, Okaloosa County medical examiner said. Wow, maybe they were sleeping. The 3rd shot was fired from not much further away. Keelman completed autopsies, or I wonder how you know which one was first. I guess you can tell by maybe the pattern on top of it, I guess. Keelman completed autopsies early Friday on the bodies of Alger, 22, and Ann Peterson, 20. Both were found dead Thursday morning in separate rooms of their residence at Lot 15 in the Green... I wonder if that's in there. In the Greenwood Mobile Home Park at 103 Jackson Street. See, this is it right in this mobile home park. But what's interesting is that other Audrey, like she lived in a mobile home. I think it's right there, as a matter of fact, because I got her address. So if you went down here, it's not really a mobile home park, but I think that's, well, maybe it is kind of a mobile home, I guess. But this is where she lived in that one, right there. And then the couple that just got killed lived in this mobile home park, right in here. And then in that other case, this is Duval Street. So all 3 of those people are like right here. And then look where Frank Walls lived. This is his last address and been verified because he's been in prison this entire time. He lived right there. How crazy is that? That Frank Walls, the guy on death row, he's right there. That's where he lived at the time. And look how close it is to these areas. Right here. He just walked right over there, did what he was going to do, and then apparently was a little bit further away when he went down to here and killed the girl on the beach. But generally, he's sort of just stuck right by where he lived. That's probably how they caught him. Hey, thanks, C. Daily. Peterson was shot once above and behind her right ear. He said the gun that was used to kill her was fired at it was contacting her head. He would not say what type of weapon was used in the slaying. Okaloosa County Sheriff's Investigator Joe Nelson said the gun was small caliber and it had not been found as of Friday. Wait, what was that? Why did it say that? Hold on. Oh, I guess it's there now. Arrest made in slaying of Fort Walton murders. So here he goes. A 19-year-old Fort Walton Beach man was charged with the double murder of a couple found dead at a trailer park earlier this week. Frank Athen Walls, 19, of 648 Navy Street. I think that's what I have here. Let's see. 648 Navy Street. Oh, I guess it's... that's so weird because if he lived there, he actually has this address as his last known address on Been Verified. Right there. So that's interesting that at the time he was here. But look how close. So he must have known these people or something. And then, that's crazy. Let me add that one too. So he lived in this little apartment here at that time. And that's 648 Navy Street. All right. Well, that's where he lived when he was arrested, I guess, which is still really close. But, I mean, this one is right there. So it makes you wonder, I mean, how is this address associated with that? But hey, guys, if you're out there and you have the ability to help support the channel, that would be awesome. I would appreciate it. As you can see, the scrolling thing at the bottom. People said if I put that up there, that's all I'd have to do. But as you can see, it doesn't really work that well. So let's see. Frank Allen Walls, 19 of 648 Navy Street, was arrested at 11 p.m. Friday and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of kidnapping, armed robbery, burglary, grand theft, possession of burglary tools. Okaloosa County Sheriff Larry Gilbert said Walls, who is employed as a dishwasher, has lived in Fort Walton Beach most of his life. He is being held without bond. Gilbert said a large pocket knife and a .22 caliber gun believed to have been the murder weapon was found. Walls is charged in the early Wednesday morning murders of Elgin Air Force Base Senior Airman Edward Alger, 22, and Alger's girlfriend Ann Peterson, 20. The 2 were found dead on Thursday morning in separate rooms of their residence at Lot 15 in the Greenwood Mobile Home Park. Alger was shot twice in the head and once in the neck. Yeah, so, and that's not them over here. You know, it's just randomly happened to be another picture. All right, so that was any other ones in there? Special formers in the special team, a special investigative unit has been formed. This is 1987, July 31st, to reopen 6 unsolved murders since 1984, and Okaloosa County authorities said Thursday. The unit of federal, state, and law investigators will try to determine if a man charged last week with 2 murders can be linked to any of the unsolved cases. Frank Walls, 19, was charged with the July 23rd murders of Edward Alger Jr. and Ann Peterson. Police said a suspect broke into their mobile home in Ocean City and shot both victims. Right, so, they immediately were thinking, man, this guy, he might be like a serial killer, so we need to look into other cases. And then, as we know, as I read a little bit ago, in this one, that killer confesses, and he confessed to some of the ones that they were looking into. And if you go to his Wikipedia here, right down here, it said, Walls committed his first murder on March 26, 1985 at the age of 17. On that date, he was on Okaloosa Island doing community service when he noticed 19-year-old junior college student Tommy Lou Whidden sunbathing there. Brandishing a knife, he went up to her and slashed her throat, leaving her to bleed out. Walls then stole her car, which was found the following day parked behind a random building. That same evening, Whidden's body was found by a random person walking on the beach. On September 16, 1986, he killed a second woman in Wright, 24-year-old Cynthia Sue Condra, by stabbing her 21 times and then leaving her body on the side of the road. On May 20th, 1987, Walls broke into a mobile home near Fort Walton Beach, occupied by 47-year-old Audrey Gigi, an employee of a local Kel-Tec. While it is unclear what exactly transpired, it is believed that Walls assaulted her and then left, but later changed his mind, deciding to come back and kill her. After encountering Gigi a second time, he stabbed her to death, stole a fan. I wonder how they know that she must have called 911 or something. I don't know. Stole a van and a radio and left the crime scene. Her nude body was found early in the morning after a coworker reported her missing after she failed to show up at her workplace. And then that last one, in the early morning hours of July 22nd, Walls committed his most well-known and infamous murders. He broke in to a mobile home in Ocean City Greenwood Mobile Home Park. At the time, inhabited by 22-year-old Eglin Air Force Base Airman Edward Alger and his girlfriend, 20-year-old Anne Louise Peterson, and intentionally knocked over a fan to wake up the occupants. I wonder how they know that. When Alger and Peterson arrived to check what the noise was, Walls he probably admitted this is what happened. Walls forced Peterson to tie up her boyfriend's hands and ankles before he did the same to her. At some point, however, that's why the gunshots, they were able to put it right through their heads, just like that. At some point, however, Alger loosened up the bindings and attacked Walls. So the guy actually attacked Walls, but was knocked to the ground and had his throat cut. Still alive, Alger bit Walls on the hand, causing him to drop the knife. Undeterred by this, Walls then pulled out a gun and shot Alger 3 times in the head, killing him. Jeez, that guy really fought hard to stay alive. Walls then returned to Peterson, removed her gag, and started assaulting her. At one point, he grabbed his gun and shot her in the head. The shot proved to be non-fatal, at which point Walls put a pillow over her face and shot her again, killing her. He then stole $200, a worn leather wallet, and an oscillating fan, and then left. The couple's bodies were found on July 23rd after one of Alger's superiors noticed that he had not arrived at work. Isn't that just insane? I mean, if there's anybody out there that deserves the death penalty, it's this guy. Let's see. Let me see how this turned out. How'd they do this, though? It says, the day after Alger and Peterson's bodies were discovered, Walls was arrested after his roommate tipped police off after his odd behavior. As a result, Walls was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of kidnapping, armed robbery, burglary, grand theft, and possession of stolen property. Let's see. An inspection of the trailer home led to the discovery of stolen items from the crime scene, and Walls himself later admitted responsibility for the murders. While he was waiting trial for the double murder, Okaloosa County Police Department created a special unit to re-examine recent unsolved murders in an attempt to link them to Walls, as they suspected that he had previous victims. One case authorities paid special attention to was the GHI murder, as a search of Walls' trailer led to the recovery of a fan similar to the one stolen from her mobile home, and also had a single fingerprint later identified to be hers. But hey guys, if you like the show, if you have the ability to help support the channel, get some memberships, that'd be great. We are only at 1/3 of a normal goal night. It'd be great to try to get there, even though we're covering stuff that everybody, it's not the big popular case, Yeah, so he was found guilty in 1988, and then less than a year after his second trial, Walls was linked via DNA to Gigi's murder, much to the relief of her relatives, who said in interviews with the media that they knew he was guilty all along. In an attempt to avoid a second trial and another potential death sentence, Walls pleaded no contest to GG murder and admitted responsibility for killing Whidden and Condra in exchange for avoiding trial for the former and not being prosecuted for the later two. About a month after this plea, sheriffs from neighboring Walton County announced that they were investigating Walls as a possible suspect in another murder. This was the murder of, I didn't see this one, of 35-year-old Lindsay Sams, a woman from Columbus, Mississippi, who was found severely beaten at a condominium in Miramar Beach on October 5th, 1986. While she initially survived the attack, she was unable to provide any clue to her attacker and later succumbed to her injuries at the hospital. When questioned, Walls categorically refused to answer any questions, claiming that he felt betrayed by police due to the publicity surrounding his confessions. While he remained a longtime suspect in the case, according to FDLE agent Dennis Haley, law enforcement attention later turned their attention to Mark Reeby, the stepfather of Walls' then-girlfriend. Let's see. Law enforcement attention later turned their attention to Mark Reeby, the stepfather of Walls' then-girlfriend, after he and his brother were convicted of a similar murder. Wow, what the hell? I mean, I guess you don't want to be related to Walls. While he remained a longtime suspect in the case, law enforcement attention later turned their attention to Mark Reeby, the stepfather of Walls. Wow, so, like he's, Walls was 19 at the time, so he had as a stepdad. And so the stepfather of Walls' then girlfriend, okay, Mark Reeby, the stepfather of Walls' girlfriend. So Walls had a girlfriend, and this is the girlfriend's stepfather. And after he and his brother were convicted of similar murder and sentenced to life imprisonment. Despite this, Reeby has never been prosecuted for the murder of Sams, which remains unsolved. Huh. Well, that's pretty weird, huh? So does anybody feel sorry for this guy? That was kind of the point. Like this guy right here. They don't mention any of his other killings in here. But apparently the Supreme Court, they're going to hear the case, and then it's an automatic appeal for that. Or I guess, no, once the warrant's signed, it's an automatic appeal to the Supreme Court of Florida. And then after that, if the Supreme Court upholds it, then, then the date of his execution is set. I think it's set for December 18th at 6 p.m. This guy got many years of living, at least. What is he? 19, like 50 something now, 60 years old. Now he's like 56 or 7 or something like that. I don't know. Have you thought of covering Jim Smith, Dan? Yeah, I have thought of the lady on the boat, right? Yeah, I have. I'm just doing what I want to do. It's just, I don't know, man. It's just so frustrating. People are just never happy with what you're doing. Yeah. NG, what does that mean? But hey, you guys, I need your guys' support on here tonight. We're way behind, and here we are again. We're doing something not the typical, and we're just another struggle, I don't know how to get around it. We're currently just, like a third, maybe 40% now. No, I wasn't getting any good views on Charlie Kirk. I quit doing. I didn't do any conspiracy theories, so nobody watched. Andre, so go do something else. All right. People quit watching my videos on the Charlie Kirk case because I quit doing. I didn't quit because I never did conspiracy theories. That's how it went. Oh, boy. All right, we're now switching to something else. Let's see. Oh yeah, so this is in South Carolina. There's a solved cold case. So, I mean, the very first article I found, I was trying to locate this apartment complex, the Palmetto Apartments. All right, and let me show that location over here. So right here are these apartments, and those are right here. It just doesn't matter. Nobody watched, Paulette. That's what I'm telling you. I keep trying to tell you guys. I kept making videos on the Charlie Kirk case, and I'd only get 1,500 views on a video, and 150 people showing up to the live stream. They don't watch it anymore. They watch garbage. If you put out false information, sensationalistic conspiracy theories, you get watched. That's how it works. I've already explained it to you. I wouldn't have any more viewers tonight if I was covering Charlie Kirk. All right. It's just somehow my channels got thrown into the garbage. All right. I don't know what they did. YouTube, like literally a month and a half ago, I had videos that had 500,000, a ton of views, and then on a dime one day, it just went. Okay, so I need your guys' support on tonight's show, even though it's not the cool cases, all right? I spent the entire day getting ready in the files and the documents to do this, hoping, for God's sakes, that on one night we're not covering Charlie Kirk and them. It wasn't going to be a struggle. It started off pretty good, and then it just went just like that. Yeah, I don't know. Mine's one that shouldn't have been punished by YouTube, if they are, because I'm the only one that was always putting out the true factual information in the case. Okay? Anyways, I found the apartment complex, and I basically verified that this was the location by finding the article when the apartments were built in 1971. All right, so I found that. This is in this cold case. And then here we go. Go right here. This one's really pretty interesting, you guys. If you don't follow along and you take off, it's your loss. Investigators for the Beaufort County Sheriff, might be Beaufort, but Beaufort, I think it's like Beaufort County Sheriff's Department, have no leads in a Sunday night shooting death of 34-year-old Burton woman at a laundromat. The body of Margaret G. Schuler of 3015 Harding Street was found in front of a laundromat by her 12-year-old daughter. The daughter went looking for Miss Schuler when she failed to return from the laundromat 2 doors away from the residence in the Palmetto Apartments. Coroner Kurt Copeland said Monday morning, all that's been determined is that the woman apparently died from a gunshot wound. At least that's all we know so far, he said. The weapon used in the shooting was a .22 caliber automatic pistol. An autopsy was to have been performed Monday morning at the Medical University of South Carolina in Charleston, Copeland said. Captain John Kister, chief deputy of the Sheriff's Department, said Monday morning there were no suspects in the shooting and very little evidence. Kistler said the shooting occurred sometime between 8 p.m. and 8:45 p.m. Sunday. He speculated that assault may have been the motive in the shooting. Captain Kistler also said the coroner's report showed that the victim wasn't sexually assaulted. It looks like the motive might have been for assault, but we don't know, he said. Her clothes were in disarray. There must have been some struggle. Kistler said no one seemed to have heard any shots being fired. It was a small caliber gun, he said. One of the witnesses had seen her in the laundromat about 8 o'clock, he said. Copeland said the victim apparently had crawled out in front of the laundromat, probably trying to get to her kid, see her one last time, after being shot. After she did not return home at the normal time it took her to walk from the laundromat, the 12-year-old daughter went looking for her and found her lying out front, he said. Kistler said a bullet was found inside the laundromat, which led investigators to believe the victim had been shot inside and crawled outside. Well, it seems like you would have been able to also just see blood, you know. And then they're still looking for information. Margaret G. Schuler, 34. This is 1987 as well. Investigators have determined the shooting occurred between 7:45 and 8:45. No suspects have been arrested in the shooting. And Sheriff Lieutenant Robert Houston said nothing new has been developed. All right, so then in 2019, so that just went on and on and on, they developed this Parabound Nano Labs, you know. Detectives believe new technology could help solve the case. So they were able to determine it was a black person. Detectives in Beaufort County, apparently the shooter got injured by Margaret and bled, and they collected that blood. Detectives in Beaufort County are looking into the murder of a woman that happened more than 30 years ago. The sheriff's office is reopening the case. Margaret Schuler was doing laundry at her apartment laundromat when a man attacked her. He shot her, then accidentally shot himself, they're saying. Okay, when the bullet ricocheted, he ran from the scene, but police were never able to identify him. So maybe it was just a ricochet, I guess. They are composites that are very similar to what the person actually looks like, so we employ that technology. It's available. The victim's family deserves it. The victims deserve it. See, there's a reason the Beaufort County Sheriff's Office has not forgotten about the case. The young woman was a member of the community, a wife and a mother to a young girl. So this is, yeah, I guess that's that same apartment. There's that one, and I think there's even another one about the same thing. Right here. And that's the lady who had a daughter. I mean, you know, so she crawled outside. 32 years after the fact, investigators in the Low Country believe they have a break in a brutal murder case. But it didn't come from a witness or a suspect confession. It's all because science and technology. At approximately 8:30 p.m. on November 1st, 1987, Margaret Schuler was washing clothes. You know, we need somebody to play, do one of the challenges tonight. We need like 2 or 3 challenges because we are really, really, man, it's just crazy. I mean, it's like I do these shows, and if I don't stick to doing the conspiracy, you know, not a conspiracy, the big case, I mean, these are really interesting. But you can only get 106 people watching. It's crazy. This is like really interesting stuff, these cases. So you got that. And then all of a sudden, boom, they just today announced an arrest. So let's watch some of this. And they solved it.
Good afternoon. As Sheriff Tanner said, when he was first elected in 1999, got elected in 98, took over in 99, we started the cold case program. Since we've solved 4 cases and have partial resolution in another case from 1995. I will say this, stable, progressive leadership leads to the successful resolution of these cases. Changing leadership, it may get lost in transition. So having an active cold case program for 26 years now has been very effective. And I want to acknowledge Sheriff Tanner's leadership and the leadership of Mark Orlando, the Hilton Head Island town manager, for supporting this program. We're here to talk about Margit Schuler, 34 years old. First, a little bit about Margit. Margit was from Hungary, which was as her husband described, a communist country back in the early 80s. They were able to get to Austria and then were given access to the United States, where Margit was a cardiac care nurse. Joseph, her husband, was in the Navy as a corpsman. And when this occurred on November 1st of 1987, Joseph was deployed for training in San Diego for a few weeks and then got the news about his wife's death. So the case facts: on November 1, 1987, between the hours of 8:15 and 8:45, Margit Schuler was doing laundry at the Palmetto Apartments laundromat for her 12-year-old daughter. She left her daughter at the house, which was in proximity to the laundromat, went over, was doing laundry. A witness saw her in the laundromat folding clothes. That was the last time she was seen alive. Her daughter was wondering where her mother was at 8:45, 12-year-old. Found her beneath a tree in a pool of blood, deceased. Sheriff's office responded. Deputies responded to the scene along with EMS. They pronounced her dead at the scene. Of particular note, in the initial investigation, there was a trail of blood leaving the laundromat for 100 or 200 yards in the direction of Battery Creek Apartments. Margit Schuler lay dead right outside the laundromat as the incident. She was shot actually inside the laundromat and crawled her way out. The blood trail bifurcated from her blood trail, leading us to believe the suspect was injured during the incident. Wounded. We're not sure how he was wounded at this point, but we know he was injured as he left a blood trail, big 90-degree blood drops that were collected by detectives. Now, back in '87, there wasn't DNA. There was blood typing, so that was not as specific and sensitive as the technology we have today. So when the sheriff took over, initially looked at the evidence. We did not have a forensic services laboratory at the time. That started in 2010. So we had to go to the state lab, South Carolina Law Enforcement Division. They did a super job. They had a super team up there. They looked at this with the newest technology. Before 1999, you needed a big spot of blood. In 1999, you needed only a minute amount of DNA to be able to produce a robust profile. They attempted. The technical leader, his name was Gray Amick. He was a doctor, a PhD. He said, Bob, I see the blood, but I can't develop a profile. I don't know why, but if you resubmit it in a few years, we should have better technology. Well, Gray went on to run the lab at the Richland County Sheriff's Office, which is in Columbia. And we conversed about this case again. He said, I want another try. So we submitted the blood back to Gray Amick. He developed a profile in 2005. It went into the Combined DNA Index System, which is also known as CODIS, which is the convicted offender database back then. And it continues today. It's a little bit more robust. You have more people in there, obviously, than you did back in 2005. Well, no match returned. So frustrating stumbling block, but you continue on. We had possible persons of interest, 3 or 4 of them back then. We were able to eliminate them through DNA analysis. And then in 2019, started hearing about the Golden State Killer. What can we do here to move this case forward? Okay, Parabon Nanolabs was successful in identifying a Golden State Killer through familial relationships. So sent it to Parabon. They prepared they conducted a DNA analysis, and also they prepared a composite that you're seeing right here. That is done through their DNA. Don't ask me how they do it, but I'm glad they do it. If you notice, there's a great similarity to the subject. So we have a cold case volunteer program that we run out of Hilton Head Island, and we have volunteers that step up to the plate. I have a particular volunteer that you talk about volunteerism. I mean, it's amazing the amount of hours, the countless hours that go into this. She was able to identify Maria Tells Gonzalez in 2022. She had been an unidentified murder victim for 27 years. Amazing. So after that case, she goes, Bob, I'd like to try this case because we already have the results back from Paragon. So she starts working on it, and it's time consuming. But again, she's not being paid, so thankful for her. So, anyways, coming around to this fall or this spring, Adam and I were in conversation. This is the first partner I've had on a cold case, and he's been super. He's full-time with the sheriff's office. So we get together, and he goes and sees the subject. And not to get into too much, but we did not receive cooperation from that, what we were looking for. We brought him back in. This time I came over from Hilton Head, and we sat with the subject. Again, did not want to cooperate, but we were able to obtain DNA, not with his cooperation, but we obtained DNA, submitted to the Forensic Services Laboratory. DNA analysts called me back a few days later, and that's the beauty of having a lab here too. It's the speediness of it. I mean, you get turnaround like that. Called me back a few days later and asked me if I was going out for a lottery ticket, because this guy's in it. He goes, he's in. It was just great news to start with, right? So, I mean, resolution to the case. We obtained a search warrant from a circuit court judge to compel Cortez Lake to provide DNA. We collected that, and again, about a week later, a match in the septillions, which is explained to me by the DNA analyst as 24 zeros behind the number. So this is a very robust profile, excellent evidence. We still continue the investigation. I mean, we're not done at time of arrest. We're done when the case is disposed of in court. So we are still looking for information from the public on Cortez Lake. There are many people in this community that know him. They may have some information that we need. So we're asking them to call me, call Adam Drayson, or submit the tip to Crime Stoppers. So again, it's very proud to continue to serve the sheriff and of course, the town of Hilton Head Island, and pleased to report the successful resolution of this case. You want to say anything, Adam?
Just to follow up with what you said, Mr. Lake has lived in Beaufort County ever since this incident occurred. So we believe that there are people out there that would have information. So we really encourage people to come forward and tell us whatever they might know about him or anything that's happened since the murder occurred.
Don, why don't you tell them a little bit about Cortez Lake?
Cortez Lake, thank you, sir. Cortez Lake was in the military. He was a Navy corpsman stationed at Parris Island as a...
Yeah, so, yeah. I just kind of looked, I haven't listened to any of this last part, but I looked him up, and I found different, you know, like this. Why is it saying that? I'm logged in, you idiot. Let's see. Sign in. Yeah. Crap. Let me see what's going on here. Oh, sign with Ancestry. Okay. All right. Let's see. It should work now. Yeah, look how crazy this is. I just looked his name up back then. Look at it. There he is. So it says, as part of new strategy of Beaufort Memorial Hospital to emphasize that patients are the focus of care, something very creative has emerged. Each department of the hospital is asked to come up with a project highlighting excellent customer service. With the assistance of the hospital Foundation, funds were found to repaint and wallpaper rooms with attractive nursery designs. As the excitement over the making the rooms more attractive to children grew, so did the creative juices of nursing assistant Cortez Lake. This is the killer of Margit. And this article here is only 5 years after that. Look at him. An artist by avocation, Lake volunteered his talents to create a mural around the nursery rhyme theme. Art is my life, Lake says. I like working with all forms of art, drawing with pencils, acrylic, sculptures. The mural Cortez created was done on canvas so that it could be moved to the new facility in a few years. It is his first public project, and according to him, he had a lot of fun putting people's ideas to canvas. The artwork is on display at the end of the corridor of 2 West. A native of Illinois, he was stationed in Beaufort twice in the military, and when his time was up 2 years ago, he came back. They don't have a space between he and came there. I like Beaufort. I like Beaufort because it's peaceful, and there's a lot of open space. Peaceful. Lake's background in the military as a dental technician and a combat corpsman exposed him to medicine, and during that time he grew to appreciate the artistic side of medicine. Keeping people comfortable is important to me, he says. When I'm not shooting him in the head, of course. The quality of the care I give is important. So there's one that I found, and then another one in 1994. It just says right here, we make breathing easier. And then Beaufort Memorial Hospital's cardiopulmonary staff, Cortez Lake assistant. Then in 2001, I mean, look how weird this has got to be him now, because this is in the same town. There isn't 2 people named Cortez Lake. Freelance draftsman, with his art skill, with 10 years experience in drafting and art, see? Need help with blueprints and detailed touch-ups or sketch ideas? Call Cortez Lake. See, that was 2001. And then 2004, he's like playing basketball here against Cortez Lake left. Beaufort Memorial Hospital guards the Naval Hospital Beaufort's Larry Kuhn in Friday night's 3rd annual March of Dimes charity basketball game. The event, which the Naval Hospital won for the 3rd straight year, earned about $400 for the March of Dimes April 24th fundraiser Walk America. Yeah, so that's in there. Yeah, he's just out doing his thing. And so, I don't know, that was now let's listen to what he says in here.
In the dental clinic, I guess they call it, back in 86, 87, 88, was discharged in 88, lived at the Battery Creek Apartments during his tenure in the military, and I'll go through the map real quick with you here. We don't have it. Okay, disregard.
And by the way, the lady, the kid that was killed on the cruise ship, I was watching something earlier. It sounds like her step sibling is responsible for killing her. I wonder if it was like an assault went wrong, Or, I mean, it was already wrong, but like he killed her.
He lived between 600 and 800 feet from the laundromat. Margaret Schuler probably lived about 50 feet from the laundromat. He would have known who Margaret Schuler was. He would have had access to the laundromat. We were able to establish he did live there. That was not something he offered. So that's something that we were able to determine through documents. And one of the hardest things about a case, that going back to the 80s, is the documents. You know, like real estate documents or rentals and things like that. They dispose of those within 5 or 10 years by law. They don't have to keep them. So everything's been shredded. So you have to really go back, get the military record, and we're able to put them here at that time.
And he then was employed at
Yep.
Beaufort Memorial Hospital.
He was employed at Beaufort Memorial Hospital as a respiratory therapist and retired
See?
after 30 some odd years.
See, I found all of that stuff and
He's been
I
in
hadn't
this
heard this
community,
yet, so they
that
did
long.
talk about it.
Any questions, Jessica?
So is there a motive? Do you know why?
We believe sexual assault was the motive in this case. There was evidence found at the scene, and the victim, of course, her appearance when she was found, that would indicate sexual assault was going to be the motive. So, Yes, sir.
So he's been hiding like that.
He was. It's not the first time it's happened. And again, thankful for DNA.
Was he interviewed like at the very beginning? Were people in the apartment complex interviewed?
They were. I have a feeling he was
Let's see if we can do a small wave of some sort to get to 50%, you guys. Any chance of that?
absent when that occurred. But they were interviewed. The original detective is still alive, and we're in contact with him. And this is fresh blood leading from the scene. This is not some dried up, this is directly as a result of the crime. Yes, sir.
Is there any evidence or any thought that he may have committed other crimes? I mean, it seems fairly unusual that.
Yeah.
happens once.
Yeah,
That's a
somebody
great
doesn't do
question.
that once.
And we are looking into Cortez Lake, and that's why we're looking for information from the public. Oftentimes, this is not a one and done,
Right, yeah.
as we know, as we've seen in the past. And if you look at Isaiah Gadsden, he was charged in 1980, murder of David Krulowitz and a rape of a teenage girl. There were additional victims that came forward afterwards, and he was actually arrested for a rape afterwards. So, yeah, a very good possibility. There may be other things out there that we're looking to find out.
Aside from that, are there any other aspects of this case that you're looking
Yeah, he's 76 years old.
Again, Cortez Lake specifically. You know, he's been living with this for more than 38 years. Is there a chance he told somebody about it? Absolutely.
Was he single? Did he have family?
He is, his living arrangements, he lives with a woman right now. Yeah, he did.
Additional charges, or could there be additional charges?
Depending on what we find out moving forward, there absolutely could be, but at this point, the murder is the appropriate charge. And if a crime were committed today, he'd be charged with possession of a firearm during the commission of violent crime, but that was not in play back in 1987. We did recover the murder weapon in 1989 on a building site on Highway 21. It was matched at the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division to a casing recovered from the laundromat.
It was an older type gun, wasn't
It was. Older type gun with no record on it because it was so old. Right. Made in France. Apparently the manufacturing plant burnt down some years later. Sir, ma'am, I'm sorry.
Have you spoken with him?
I spoke with her husband yesterday. And, he's thankful. This devastated his life. It
Yeah,
did, and his
sure.
own. So
That's,
there's a real victim impact here that, just, yeah. I mean, again, he's thankful. He inquired who it was. He doesn't remember being acquainted with Cortez Lake, but again, he lived in the same neighborhood. So there were other people that lived in Battery Creek Apartments back then in 1987. I'd love to talk to those people.
I have two questions for you.
Sure.
First is, what does this feel like coming from us being able to announce this news of something that you're
It's amazing. I mean, this is really important work, and I'm just proud to be part of it. And Adam and I have been working closely together on this, and I know he's excited about it as well. Yeah.
And then the second question, sorry, more of a technical question. You said that at first when you spoke with Cortez, he was not at his forthcoming with information and did not want to provide DNA. You said you somehow obtained that.
We did.
Are you able to
We did.
clarify what that means?
No.
Well, right. Adam and I came up with a plan.
Let's see. What do we got? A membership challenge somewhere. Where is it? I don't see it. How do you match with 3? All right, guys, if you guys do 3 memberships, Wild Bill Wassman, I thought we were reading a different one. You'll match with 3. Very cool. So if Wild Bill Wassman says if you guys do 3 memberships, he'll donate 3. All right.
And it works, so, yeah.
Bob, what was his reaction when you knocked on his door the first time?
Very flat after. Did he? Yeah.
He was surprised the first time
Okay.
we knocked on his door. Wasn't very surprised after that.
Yeah, the subsequent visits, he was, yeah.
How many cold kicks, so you said this is the 4th that you guys have solved under this new?
Yes.
How many more are those?
We've got more than 30, spanning the years from 1972 all the way to today. And a lot of the ones that are unsolved, there's just very little forensic evidence there. DNA came into play, and it's really effective in looking at cases from the 70s, 80s, and even the 90s. But nowadays, if there's DNA, it's solved pretty quick.
Has
And
that same testing been used on some of those cases from like back in the set, like you guys are like, oh, this didn't work here?
absolutely, yeah. The Parabon, using Parabon and their mentorship,
Any chance you guys can do the other 2 memberships so that we can get the matching, please? We're still not even at 50%, if you can believe it.
they were effective in 2 of our cases, and that's only 2 I can really think that they would have an interest in, because we know who the victims are and we know who the suspects are or whatever. So, this was, ma'am? No.
Are there any cases right now that you're currently using so that technology is installed?
That is, no, we're not using it on any cases right now, no. But again, it's proven to be very effective.
Hey, thanks.
I mean, this is 2 cases that have some sort of
Vernus
resolution
D.
to it, and within a couple of years. So, yeah.
Do you know any more about his, sorry, Kirby, his history, other things?
There's very little there. He would not have been on the radar as a murder suspect. And he was not on the radar from the beginning, going back to that. He wasn't even named, so. Yes.
So, if the technology that is available now had not been developed, we would have never been, we may not.
There's a good possibility of that. There's a very good possibility of that. And again, having stable leadership in the sheriff's office since 1999, we were able to continue the work where it's not lost somewhere in transition, like I said. So, yes, sir.
So he was booked yesterday.
He was.
Was there a bond hearing this morning? I didn't see it in the public index.
It was deferred to a circuit court judge,
Sure.
so he's still being held. Yes.
Will this mugshot be
It's,
I will,
yeah.
I'll send it to y'all if you don't have it.
That's it right there, correct?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Any other questions?
I have, in addition with that, is the husband, how did you describe her?
Oh, as the rock of the family, the heart of the family, wonderful mother. Yeah.
Well, they may have another one, but just don't get too far. I mean, the husband at the time.
Yeah, of course Luigi is a killer. Can we we're trying to get the 3rd gifted membership to get the match. It's 2 for 1 basically. So if you just support the channel with $5 or a gifted membership, that would be it.
Time of the murder was on deployment. He was also in the Navy, and he was on deployment. We're going to stress again the importance of science, and that's kind of the future for law enforcement. I mean, we've been talking about this now. We've been talking about firearms. We've been talking about DNA. We've been talking about all the other stuff, and I was working. I mean, I remember this case because
Oh, now it says Chris. That's so weird. It changed his name up there. It said something else. Now it's Chris Doheny.
I was actually
Duhaney.
running the Beaufort County Sheriff's Office Drug Task Force at the time, and we worked late hours. And when that call came out at this particular location,
Chris Stu.
I and my team at the time went out to assist in whatever way we could. So I remember the case. So when I look back on a case, and I started in the sheriff's office in 1981, so I was fairly new to the sheriff's office when this murder occurred, and you look back on something that that you clearly remember happened, and Johnny Wayne Foscue was the lead investigator on this case, and now here we are talking about a case today that was solved through science. One that I remember quite well, and today we're able to talk about a person that's being held accountable for a murder that was committed over 38 years ago. As science and technology improves, and it improves every day, Bob was saying some of the things that were done early on in the investigation, let's keep trying because technology is getting better, and what we can't do today, we may be able to do next month or next year. We're always looking at our cold cases to see if there's things scientifically today that we're able to utilize to resolve some of those cases. And hey, look, there's no perfect case. There's no perfect crime. So it requires law enforcement to use the skills that we all have, but it requires us to also look at science and technology, because science and technology is the future of what we do. Adam's been an investigator for a long time, as well as Bob, and they remember when they started this job and what science was available compared to where we're at today. And we have this conversation with our new investigators all the time, because technology today, we didn't have any of that.
Thank you, Wild Bill.
It's kind of like hearing your parents say, well, when I grew up, I had to walk to school in the rain with no shoes type scenario. When I started this job, there was no science available to what we did. We had to rely on fingerprints or confessions or eyewitness testimony. Today, that's quite different than what it was back then. So every case is solvable. There's not any case out there that's perfect. It just requires the linkage of, like in this particular case, Bob I think he's made it crystal clear that now that Cortez Lake has been identified in Beaufort County as a person responsible for the murder, in 1987 of Margit Schuler, maybe we'll have people come forward and say, there was something about that day or that week or that month after that crime that just didn't feel right to me, and I need to get it off my chest and tell you what I heard, what I saw, what I felt, and those kind of things lead us into another direction. There could be other victims. Sexual assault victims are not willing most of the time to come forward. Because of the crime itself. So maybe there are other victims.
I mean, you can stream to two different, you can have two streams going at the same time. Well, you'd have to have two instances of a thing open, but you can have that. Plus, you can take anybody else's live stream chat and put it on yours if you want. I can just take somebody else's stream and show it to you on my screen if I want to.
Of Cortez Lake, that now that they know that he is in jail facing a murder charge, that they will come forward and report their case whenever that case occurred. So they're still work in progress. And we tell our investigators all the time, the investigation doesn't start till the arrest is made. And now we have an arrest in this particular case, which could lead us in.
Oh yeah, like I've seen that one guy, I forgot his name, but like Salty something or other. Like he has streams going on multiple platforms and then has the chat from different streams showing up over there. But in StreamYards you can show from any of the places you're streaming. So
into other cases. So we're excited about being able to solve this case, as well as the three others, and identifying the female that was left in a ditch in the northern part of Beaufort County many years ago.
yeah.
And as we progress, our science will get better. We started our drug lab in 2004. And then we advanced the drug lab from drugs to DNA in 2010. And we're always looking at technology to make sure that our lab is on the cutting edge. So that's the future of what we do. Any other questions about this group? Go ahead, Chloe.
One more question. Would it be accurate to say that Margaret fought back?
After talking to Joseph, her husband, yes, that's a fair statement right there. He said she was,
Spirited?
oh, no, more than spirited. It was better than that. I don't know, a Hellcat or something like
Must have been
that.
so amazing to
So
solve
she's
something
tough.
like that after that much time. And I've seen this guy's face in like older articles from years ago.
I mean, did he seem like he felt guilty in any sense?
I'd suggest so. He knows what happened. Margaret Schuler knows what happened. Only one of them's alive, so, yeah. Yeah. But, no. No.
Adam, anything else?
Sure.
Sure.
Sure, Tom.
So both her husband and Lake were corpsmen,
They were.
both Navy corpsmen?
Both Navy
Is
corpsmen.
there any indication that they had crossed paths anywhere?
I'm sure they have crossed paths, but Joseph doesn't remember, and Cortez will not be offering that, I'm sure. Yep.
Yeah.
Lived in the same neighborhood. How many corpsmen were here back then, you know? I mean, they probably all knew each other. He just didn't readily recognize the name.
Yeah, so look at this, I mapped everything out in here. Like, look where Cortez's live. These are all addresses. See these purple here? Ding, 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 ding. All these addresses. This is where Margaret lived in here. They said he lived 800 yards away or something, or feet. But I couldn't find that one. But then look, he lived over here and here. So all the purple here is surrounding, you know, and there's another one here even. So see, like there, all these, and then right to there. So like that apartment's right in the middle. He always lived right around that same area. Yeah, it would be. I think being in a cold case unit would probably be the best. For what? What'd she do, Barbie Quinns? I mean, she's a, you know, the coffee queen, but I'm not sure what you're referring to. What happened in here? Yeah, let's see. Man, that comment that Hilson House of Crazy was like 20 minutes ago, and it's only 8 comments up. What do you mean support? I don't get it. Did she send something in? Let's see. 2 separate chats. Were they streaming? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't get it. Not sure what they're talking. I'm just trying to find what they're referring to. Working, so can't chat much. Oh, okay. But anyways, I don't really have much more to share tonight. Anyways, that was all I had. I just wanted to, you know, look up all this and show you the press conference. And so we did Sebastian Rogers. We did the serial killer Frank Walls, who just had the death warrant signed. And then we also did the Margaret Schuler cold case. So, I mean, I guess, you know, we made it to about like half of yesterday's show. you know. Yeah, she sent in a, like I thanked her for it. Like she sent in a gifted membership like everybody else, like a bunch of other people. Did you thank them too, Barbie Quins? Who are you? I've never seen you before. Like ever. Recently watched the show from the beginning at 2 speed, so she's commenting on... Oh, I see. I get it. Never seen him before, though. Okay, jeez. Nah, see, this is what the trolls do. Sorry. I have to put you on timeout there. Yeah, well, I mean, I just went over the new information that was out. So I don't really know exactly, you know, I mean, well, what it did was it showed that it seems like they believe that he just disappeared in the middle of the night. The mother didn't leave again, nor could they see Sebastian. They disproved the two idiot stories that a couple of YouTubers kept propagating out there all over the place. And we were right here yet again. All right. So anyways, thank you, Wild Bill Wassman, for your, you know, what do you call it, the challenge and a couple of the other ones that you got in there. Also, Chelsea, Wild Bill Wassman. And then we have Aaron Sayers. Thank you so much. Aaron Sayers gifted a membership. Then Peggy Day. Then Aaron Sayers again. And then Aaron Sayers gifted 5. And then it was, so there's really just only like 4 or 5 different people tonight who are supporting the channel. And then Deidre Gambrel did a cat eye. Then C. Daly, Wild Bill Wassman, Linda Howell, then Lisa Valenzuela, Wild Bill Wassman again, Lisa Valenzuela, then Wormus D, and then Chris Stew, Wild Bill Wassman, Wild Bill Wassman, Wild Bill Wassman. Thank you. Yeah, hopefully they get something in the Summer Wells case. All right, maybe we'll check on that one tomorrow. Send me the information. All right, thanks everybody. We'll see you guys later. And as I always say, oh, well, by the way, didn't you find that show pretty interesting tonight? Going over those different, like the serial killer Frank Walls, and then Margaret Schuler case solved, and then showing that, I mean, he was in the newspaper a whole bunch of times, like just some normal dude chilling out in society, doing good things. What a joke. All right. Anyways, thanks everybody. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks again there, Wild Bill Wassman. Really appreciate that. At least we got to pass 50%. That was at least some sort of a goal there. All right, so thanks everybody. See you guys later. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, like rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Gray is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his spectre. With all respect, y'all, just remember I'm the type of fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody? Talk to you later.